I'm Hot Dog Man, and I'm here to tell you all about comics that came out this past week. My secret identity? I'm Dylan Lang, host of the Comic Hall. I just finished my hour and 40-minute episode of Dylan Knows, my Halloween episode. It's uploading now, so I figured, I got a captive audience. I haven't done my Comic Hall yet today for this week, so I figured, I may as well hit this as a piggyback on that. I'll talk about a few things. Yesterday was Halloween Comicfest. An event that's like Free Comic Book Day, but on Halloween, and you get free comics. I'll show you some of those at the end of the show. And also this week, these are the comics I bought this week from the Comic Hall. So we're going to do a real quick discussion of those. That's what the Comic Hall is, just me talking about the comics I bought real quick, showing you the artists, writers, stuff like that, and telling you about the story. So first up, DC Universe is the first one we did. Teen Titans #1 is out this week. The Rebirth issue is pretty good. I like the artwork by John Boy. This one's written by Benjamin Percy and John Boy Myers. It's written by Benjamin Percy with art by John Boy Myers. I like the artwork, and it's Damian Wayne's group. He decided the best way to introduce himself is to kidnap the members of the group that he wants, and is going to put them on there. So it's Kid Flash, Starfire, Beast Boy, and Raven. And they're going to all work together, and they're going to kick butt as the Teen Titans. So they're going to all work together, and it's going to work. So we'll see if that works out, and hopefully it will. But the interesting thing is John Boy Myers, this is his last issue, which is a shame because I like the artwork. There was some sort of disagreement or whatever. I don't know the situation with it, but he will not be doing any more issues of Teen Titans. So I don't know who the new creative team is yet. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if that's going to delay it due to the fact that they need to redraw the issues. I'm not sure, but just go out and get Teen Titans #1, and we'll see if it continues at its string of being pretty good. So we'll see. We also have Titans #4 out this week. These are people who were the Teen Titans who are now much older. It's written by Dan Abnett with art by Brett Booth and Norm Rapmud, and it's going to be a major comic in the Rebirth era because this brings Wally West back, and there's going to be a connection to the whole Watchmen connection to the DC universe now, and it's going to be Wally's eyes about how things have changed between the New 52 and the pre-New 52, and you've got Abracadabra as his as his bad guy in this. So great artwork by Brett Booth, and you've got the Titans with Nightwing and Donna Troy and Speedy, actually he's called Arsenal, sorry, and Aqualad, and I forget who the chick's name is, Lilith, I guess. So it's a pretty good team. I like Norm Rapmud, Brett Booth, Norm Rapmud's artwork, and should be a fun storyline. It has been a fun storyline. I've enjoyed it immensely since I've been reading it. So we'll see what happens. So that's Titans #4 out this past week. Speaking of Wally, the next story arc for the Flash, Flash #9 is out, and we're going to meet the Wally West. Are finally going to meet the Wally West, and the other Wally West are going to meet with Barry Allen. This one is written by, where is it? Joshua Williamson with art by George Corona. And here is the first appearance of Wally and Wally. So we're going to get introduced to them, and we've got a big story, different artwork this time because the Flash is one of the bi-weekly ones. So you sometimes have to get other artists in there to help with you, but that's always fun to see them together. So Wally being in the Flash book is pretty good, and you've got all the Wallies. Oh, and then it looks like we're going to see another speedster coming up really soon. So Flash #9 is out with a brand new storyline. So check that out. Again, I keep saying I'm going to stop collecting this book, but then they just keep dragging me back in. Speaking of Damian Wayne, Deathstroke #5 is out this week. Christopher Priest is still the writer, who is still doing a fantastic job of it. Joe Bennett is the artist. He's one of the guys that you can always count on, and Martin Morales is the anchor to fill in when you need to and do a good job of it at the time. So if you need a fill-in artist, Joe Bennett's one of the guys you want to grab. So Deathstroke is pretty good. Interesting stuff going on. So check it out. I think I'm going to keep reading it because it looks good and stuff like that. Batgirl number 4. Good cover. I like the cover of that. This continues Batgirl's adventures in Japan. It's written by Hope Larson with art by Raphael Albuquerque. Again, a pretty good artwork, and it's interesting to have a different perspective, a Gotham City Gothamite in Japan. It's pretty interesting. So Raphael Albuquerque is good artwork. And so her first storyline is probably coming to an end soon. So that's Batgirl number 4. Another really good story going on right now is Wonder Woman number 9, continuing to be very good. This is written by Greg Rucka with art by Liam Sharp. What they've been doing with Wonder Woman is bi-weekly. So you have one of the issues of the month is about present day Wonder Woman, which is what this one is, written by Greg Rucka with art by Liam Sharp. And then you have a year 1, take a look at it, with written by Greg Rucka with art by Nicola Scott. So you get 2 different storylines that are going to converge every once in a while. And looks like this one is just sort of a self-contained one where Steve Trevor and Diana reconnect. Unfortunately, Nicola Scott has said that she's not going to be doing Wonder Woman that much longer, but that's okay. So very interesting. So that's Wonder Woman number 9. Been reading that too. Been very well written story. I've mainly bought this one because of who's on the cover. This is Action number 966. Superwoman is here. Team up with the new Superman. And it's written by Dan Jurgens with art by Steven Segovia and inks by Art Thibault. The new Superman has been doing pretty good, though I haven't read Action all that much. Superman's just been so good. And now we've got 2 Lois Lanes and 2 Clark Kents running around. And now Lana Lang from the New 52 wants to know who this new Lois Lane is, because the other Lois Lane has died in the Superwoman comics. So we're getting an idea of what's going on. So it's good because you get to see them converge together. And Action Comics 966. Detective 943 begins a new story arc for Detective. I like this cover better than the main cover. The variant cover is really, really good. It's written by James Tynion IV with art by Alvaro Martinez and Raul Fernandez. And so this is the Batman family book, which continues to team up Batwoman with Batman, Clayface, Spoiler, and other Batwoman. I can't think of her name right now. So just interesting stuff and all kinds of good action and stuff like that. So Detective Comics continuing. Batman I've actually been getting caught up on. I've actually been enjoying the Batman series itself. So good for that. And finally, we have Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 7. I think the final battle between Sinestro and them. It's written by Robert Venditti with art by Rafa Sandoval with inks by Jordi Tarragona. So it's Hal Jordan and Sinestro fighting again, and the Green Lantern Corps coming. So, I mean, Robert Venditti has done a good job of writing Green Lantern, so I'm just not a big fan of Hal Jordan, and we'll see what happens. So there's that. Finally, the final DC one is Wonder Woman's 75th anniversary. So they released a 75th anniversary special. It's $7.99, but it's a glossy, thick comic. And it's got multiple stories by multiple writers and artists. So you've got all kinds of different takes on Wonder Woman. And just one, and posters and, pinups and just covers that have been done, just a celebration of Wonder Woman written by a whole bunch of different people. So Can't beat it if you're a big Wonder Woman fan. You just can't beat it. So yeah, all kinds of, as I said, all kinds of Wonder Woman stories in all time zones, just basically detailing the characters of Wonder Woman, how we like her, and different aspects of her character. So even though it's a hefty $8 price tag, it's still well worth it to get all the different takes on Wonder Woman, and a whole bunch of different covers. And as I said, writers and artists. So this is the Jim Lee cover. So this is the Wonder Woman 75th anniversary special. So if you're a big Wonder Woman fan, I highly recommend you pick that up because I think you'll like it too. Whew, all right, I'm getting hungry. Next up is Marvel. I'm kind of disappointed about this. Let's see if we have a picture of it. But no, I don't think we do. Of all the other variant covers, nope. The Punisher #1 annual. This is the variant edition drawn by Ron Lim. The Punisher face off against trick-or-treaters. Now, this is a Halloween story. It's an annual, so it's a double-sized issue. The cover I wanted to get is like a scarecrow. It's like a pumpkin head, and then it's got the Punisher's shirt on, and it's fantastic. And I may have to buy it if they get some new copies in. But I wanted to get this book, so I figured this is pretty good. It's a Halloween story. It's written by Jerry Conway, who's wrote Spider-Man back in the 1960s. So he's been around for a while, with art by Felix Ruiz. So it's a Halloween Punisher story. And as I said, I wish I really could show you what the cover looks like of the one I wanted, but they sold out of it, obviously, because the cover's so awesome. But this one, Ron Lim is a artist who's been around since the 80s and 90s and does a pretty good job. And it's funny with him taking on trick-or-treaters, but it is a Halloween issue. So good timing. Punisher annual #1 from Marvel. This is a great cover. This is Silver Surfer #7. It's written by Dan Slott with art by Mike Allred. This has been basically, Dan Slott is a huge Doctor Who fan, and this is his version of a Doctor Who comic using a Marvel character, in this case, a Silver Surfer as the Doctor, and Dawn as his companion. So we're getting all kinds of interesting, chance for him to do a Doctor Who series, but enmeshing it in the Marvel universe. And Dan Slott seems to be having a lot of fun. And Mike Allred's artwork is very distinct, so kind of interesting. So it's like The Devil Goes Down to Georgia. Looks like that's funny. I just saw that. That's actually very, very funny. They're doing a parody of The Devil Goes Down to Georgia, because Mephisto is considered the devil, and that's really funny. He's in a casino, actually. So Silver Surfer is one of those consistently great books ever since Dan Slott and Mike Allred have done it. So highly recommend that one. Spider-Man Deadpool. The main reason I got it because Ed McGuinness is doing the artwork, and it's got Spider-Man in it. It's Joe Kelly is the writer, Ed McGuinness is the penciler, and Mark Morales, Livesey, Jay Leaston, and Ed McGuinness are the inkers. Never been a real big Deadpool fan, but I've always kind of liked Ed McGuinness's artwork. So the two of them together are pretty funny, and you get some interesting storylines between them. So that's why I've had every issue of this so far. So check it out. Spider-Man Deadpool #10 is out this week. Now, there's a little thing called Civil War #6, Civil War 2. #6 is out this week. Brian Michael Bendis, Dave Marquez. I've been hearing a lot of not great things about the series. I still haven't read it yet. I still just am collecting it, but I've heard that it's kind of a dumb storyline and mischaracterization from Captain Marvel and all kinds of different stuff. So, whatever. I'll read eventually, but this is Civil War 2, and I suppose it's going to change the Marvel Universe again. What else is new? And they're also doing crossovers. Captain America #6, continuing the Steve Rogers works for Hydra type of thing. This is a Civil War 2 crossover. It's written by Mick Spencer with art by Javier Pina. Again, not that excited about it. It started off good, but I'm still not a big fan of the Captain Hydra storyline. Of course, I haven't read it, so I couldn't tell you for sure, like that. So, interesting stuff. So, there's that. And then Totally Awesome Hulk number 11 also is involved in Civil War II, written by Greg Pak with art by Mahmoud Assar. It's Amadeus Cho Hulk, and it's connected to Civil War, so just gotta go with the flow. So there's those. Okay, that's it for Marvel. And now finally for the independents, Skyborn number 2, Frank Cho's creator-owned book released by Boom Studios. I've got the Baltimore Comic-Con convention edition of the book and the T-shirt, but it's Frank Cho, and it's basically what's the name of Lazarus, who was brought back to life by Jesus, basically becomes immortal and had a bunch of immortal kids. And now they're taking on Merlin, who is trying to find Excalibur. So, cover filled with beautiful Frank Cho artwork, and his typical taste for comedy and likeness for bizarre creatures that he likes to draw. And it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I thought it was going to be like a female James Bond, but I guess I was wrong. So we'll see. But it's 5-issue miniseries. The second one came out. Hopefully he can continue getting it out monthly. So we'll see. From a Dark Horse, great idea. Tarzan and on the Planet of the Apes. So it's a crossover between Tarzan and the Planet of the Apes. It's written by David Walker and Tim Seeley with art by Fernando Dagnino. So basically, Tarzan takes on Planet of the Apes. Enough said. I mean, that's really all you can say is Tarzan taking on Planet of the Apes. Having these types of, stories meshing with each other is always interesting. I mean, you have the Aliens versus Predator versus Judge Dredd going on also, which is a good storyline too. You had Aliens versus Predator versus Terminator. So it's pretty good. So Tarzan Planet of the Apes number 2 is out this week. And finally, 7 to Eternity from Image Comics number 2 by Rick Remender and Jeremy Pena is out. It's a combination sci-fi fantasy, nice artwork, and Rick Remender is always good at doing these types of books. So check those out. So that's everything that I bought this week. That's out this week. As I said, this was HalloweenFest was yesterday. Halloween Comicfest was yesterday at your local comic book store. So it's possible they might still have some stuff out today. They don't have it just for one day, really. I mean, it's probably for the whole weekend. So you can always check out. But if not, oh well. So my store got these are some of the comics that I got. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas little book. It's a manga version of it, so it's read left to right. So that's pretty good. These are the ones that I got. My kids got other ones, and some of the same ones I have, like Grumpy Cat and Pokey. They're Halloween comics, so pretty. It's Grumpy Cat. It's all ages. It's pretty cute. So there's that. Also, we have. Oh, this is from Free Comic Book Day. Okay, so they sometimes my store also does. I do have this one in already. My store, they do Free Comic Book Day also, and they release. They only get so many Halloween Comicfest books, but then they have extra Free Comic Book Day ones. This is a Free Comic Book Day one. Okay, so never mind. I just saw that. So I actually have this one. I got that one during Free Comic Book Day. But your store might do the same thing. This one is a Halloween Comicfest, DC Superhero Girls. I like this one because my daughter likes it, and it's cute, and it's interesting. So got that. This is the first issue of Darth Vader's Dr. Aphra, which I think is going to be a regular series coming out soon by Gil and LaRocca. Or it might just be her reprint of her first appearance, because she does have a regular series coming out soon. So pretty good. Check that out. That was Halloween Comicfest also. Also, the Choose Your Own Adventure Unbeatable Squirrel Girl one, where it's number 1 from Halloween Comicfest. It's basically you choose your own adventure. Which way do you go? How do you do things? So that's an interesting way of doing things. Spidey number 1, Halloween Comicfest. Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man comic set during when he was in high school. basically prepping for the Homecoming movie coming out next year. And finally, Evil Dead 2 Beyond Dead by Dawn. I forget to put this out here. It's a Halloween one. So Frank Hanna, Barnaby Bagenda, and Oscar Basaldua artwork. So if you like Evil Dead, that's stuff there too. So these are from the Halloween Comicfest, also with an ad for next year's Free Comic Book Day. Is going to be May 6th, 2017. May 5th, 2017 is when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 comes out, so they're going to connect it with that. So that's what Halloween Comicfest is, basically. You get free comics that are Halloween-oriented. They are family-oriented, majority of them, but they also had a bunch of other ones also that I didn't pick up. There was a Top Cow one, and there was DC ones, and there was reprints of stuff, and there was Afterlife with Archie and regular Archies and Sabrinas. So they have a whole bunch of different comics you could pick up. Some are for all ages, and some are for older kids. And then my store, they had extra free comic book days, and they want to get them out of their inventory, so they put those out also, so people can grab those for those who didn't come to Free Comic Book Day. So that was Halloween Comic Fest. I will try to do a better job next year of pushing it. I think it should be just as big as Free Comic Book Day. It's never going to be, but it should be. But we'll see. And that's it for this week's The Comic Haul. I will try to do one again next week with new comics coming out next week, and we'll see what's going on with that. So with that, I'm going to say farewell. So long, Fadazine. Have a happy Halloween and safe. And, enjoy your comics.